And in a few seconds, we will be streaming live on YouTube as well. So make sure you're following the Smooth FM Lagos handle up on YouTube. Rotus, what's going on this morning?
Oh, there's lots going on. Aviation sector, manufacturing, dredging of ports. All right, but let's start with the markets. Yesterday, the Aruoture index was still down by 0.06%. So very marginal activity over the last 2 days. 37,963 is where we closed. The market cap is still at 13.7 trillion naira. Year to date, the market is still down by 0.73%. 12 gainers, 35 losers. CNI leasing was our top gainer yesterday. Japal is back on the way down 2 days now in a row. It's down by 7.3%. We're at 362 naira to the dollar. So looking at aviation, one of the bits of news come with the whole biometrics, pretty much for your fingerprinting and other recording of your physical characteristics and so on. They were charging a fee apparently of this day $10, anywhere between dollars upon arrival for this biometric visa. Of course, there was some pushback. I think Business Day was the one that broke the story about the cost, and then just yesterday, the national now arrive here. You know how pay another. That's $110. It's I think 39,000.
Doesn't really make very much sense.
Doesn't make very much sense, and because if you look at Nigeria has bilateral agreements with certain countries, and I think South Africa's equivalent, from what I understand, is about $50 or 40. Kenya is only about $25. So asking people to pay this amount of money,
it's just confusing why we should pay to use your biometric passport, which we have, by the way, and we use in other countries. It's just a case of swiping. So what's the fee for?
Well, I'll tell you what the fee is for. So what somebody at the immigration service was speaking to the news agency. They said the fees for the biometric visa on arrival is being collected by a company called Online Integrated Services and another one called New Works. They said there are service providers that have been appointed by the Ministry of there's still people out there who say this government has a habit of putting out something without proper research, checking what other countries are doing, and when they get pushed back, they now cut off. But hey, that's good news. That's no longer right now. It's suspended indefinitely. Still sticking with aviation. Is everybody following ASORock? Following ASORock on Twitter?
No.
Well, you should.
Okay.
You should please follow ASORock because that's
the president.
Well, that's the president. Then the ASORock just to keep us up to date. So still on aviation, sent this tweet out yesterday that the Ministry of Aviation is launching an engagement program inviting the Nigerian youth and students to contribute their ideas and creativity in naming the new Nigerian carrier. So it feels like government's still going ahead with this national carrier. They're not letting go. They're going to go ahead with it. So the website is nameyourairlinenigeria.com. I went to the website last night and it said that submissions were now closed. I don't know if the submissions closed just yesterday or they've been closed indefinitely because the tweet was just sent out yesterday. So apparently you can go on there and submit your ideas. I'm expecting some sarcastic ideas from folks out there,
Interesting. I've just clicked link now.
Yeah, what is it?
Nameyourairlinenigeria.com. I'm going.
Okay, so now saying submissions.
It actually does say submissions are closed, even though it tweeted the link 9 hours ago.
Exactly. So
I'm a little confused.
Their government, I don't know what's going on with that. Now, by the way, didn't the Ministry of Aviation has its own Twitter account? I would assume so. The Twitter handle is FMA Nigeria, but again, it still continues. Can the federal government of Nigeria, considering our recent history with Nigerian Airways, Virgin's Nigeria Airways airline, can the federal government handle a national carrier? The history is not good.
Track record is not great.
Track record is not great. Folks are saying that this is something that should be done by the private sector, and so that's still a conversation that's ongoing. Okay, private sector. Air Peace has appointed its first female captain, which just happened this week. Yeah, they've elevated one of their senior first officers to the role of captain. Now, they said that this was in line with their pledge to ensure gender equality, which is good. But just for folks out there that are not clear, the whole gender equality thing is to make sure she gets the same salary as her peers, her male peers that are captains. So that's where it is. So it's good that she's being appointed in the name of gender equality, but we do want to make sure that she's getting equal pay for the same amount of experience as her male peers. That's what that whole conversation is about. But good on Air Peace. They're saying they also have a fleet of about 4 to 8 pilots that they have as part of their workforce that are all female. Okay. Apparently, she also comes from a family of pilots. 3 of her brothers are pilots. Her father was one as well. So good for this young lady.
Well, I'm waiting for the first all-female crew. I did fly airline,
Yeah.
I think somewhere to Uganda, was it? It was actually
Okay.
it was a dope flight. I didn't realize until we landed, and then
The
the
female
announcement,
crew, yeah.
they were
Nice.
like, "Oh, by the way, this is all female crew." And I was like, "Oh, ladies, this is so beautiful."
So the point is for our little girls out there, you can aspire to fly a plane, right?
Absolutely.
That's yeah. So
but I
that
have a cousin
becomes
who's a
that.
captain anyway, so.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Female.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. We need more of that.
Which is powerful women in my family, can't you tell?
Yeah, good stuff.
Slight
I
plug.
have a message from.
How do I access the average industry PS of sectors on the Nigerian Stock Exchange?
Right, price earnings ratio. You can do that. Okay, I've told you guys about an app called Yocha. So YOCHAA. It's all there for you. You can actually access information on the price to earnings ratios and other ratios for the different sectors. So check out the Yocha app. Very, very convenient. So do check that out. Download it. I've been using it to check up on the market.
And Daniel sends in a WhatsApp message saying gender equality is also about equal opportunity, says Daniel.
That is correct, Daniel. You're also right. Sorry, I'm focusing on salary. Yes,
Yeah.
but exactly. Everybody should have the equal opportunity to access those positions of work.
And then Yinka sends in a message asking about the airlines. He says, I beg, which youth are they asking to come for naming ceremony? The lazy ones who like free things or the ones that don't like free things? Does the federal government realize that we had a first generation airline, which Nigeria was, which Nigeria then ran aground, and that was here. Then the generation where ADC and all were there. Then this generation. So the question is, why do they keep going down?
Inca, they really want this airline. Oh, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, on to the our dear Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Okechukwu, Enelamah. He says he has a message for entrepreneurs. He says this was at a there was an interactive session with delegates at the second also Leadership Academy's masterclass. It's an entrepreneurs hub in Lagos. So I think it was being represented by someone else. He said that Nigerian entrepreneurs should adopt a counter-cultural mindset in order to become successful business operators. I'm guessing when he says countercultural mindset is that this, you know how it is doing business in Nigeria. There's some certain, as they call it, anyhowness to doing business. For example, some of us don't like to acknowledge agreements. That is, there's also the copyright infringement issues.
Okay.
That's my guess, right? He says that if you adopt this countercultural mindset, that's going to put you on a competitive level with the global stage in getting your business done. But then there's still the issue of the challenges that entrepreneurs are facing here, right? Like access to finance and your favorite, your number one go-to, the light. So I think we have to make these things accessible for them before telling them that they need to adopt a countercultural match, because I would assume that a lot of entrepreneurs have no mindset.
Especially young entrepreneurs. That's kind of the nature of being an entrepreneur almost.
I think
in some ways.
Kairi has sent some tweets.
A couple of tweets in Kairi. He says, on the name of your airline, is it about the name or the structure and mechanism? Get a credible private firm to run and partner with a star alliance. The name doesn't matter, it is the service.
Right.
He does go on to say that a key issue in the aviation sector is the airports. We are losing business to Togo. Togolese airport is dope. He starts to ask, why can't we get it right? Our airports can't take the heavy traffic.
Nice pun there. That's all. Kaidi from ARM, actually. He was with us on Monday. Kaidi, thank you for your tweet.
Indeed.
Moving on to the Nigerian Ports Authority. So headline here, the Nigerian Ports Authority is set to begin dredging of the Warri Port. Shout out to all my Warri people out there who have been trooping into Lagos because there are no jobs in Warri. But apparently there's been approval now from the federal government to dredge the port, which is, I believe, to increase the depth of the port, because the issue with Lagos being congested, it seems like the Lagos ports is the only one that has the required depth that allows large vessels to berth here. All the other ports apparently don't have that, and they can't berth. So 13 billion naira is the cost. This was an interesting thing I saw from this. I think it's on the Punch. They said the agency, that's the Nigerian Ports Authority, gave this indication on Tuesday when the managing director of the NPA, Hadiza Usman, paid a courtesy visit to the Olu of Warri. I can't pronounce his name, even though I'm supposed to be from the area. I'm sorry. Ogiamen Ikenwoli II, right? But get this. Apparently, they expressed appreciation to the monarch for persuading the federal government to approve the dredging. So the MPA, the Ports Authority, came to Warri, to thank the monarch
for
for
going to
convincing the government. I mean, it's not supposed to be backwards. Shouldn't it be MPA that should be the one pushing for these ports to be? So anyway,
Headache.
yeah, look, follow the way we're still doing things in Nigeria. It's yeah.
It's a bit frightening. We'll wrap with this message, and from Samson, he sent this message on WhatsApp saying, this airline idea should be a joint venture between the government, 20%, and a private company, 80%, with operation vested with the private company. Otherwise, it's another project doomed to fail with time.
Thanks for your message. I agree. That's all the time we have.
That's pretty much all
I
the
got
time
so many
we
other
have.
stories. I got so many others. I'll have to push that to next week.
Life and times. Yeah, I think so. Even though Kaide's still sending in messages. Says, do you know that airplanes are diverted to Ghana when there are issues with landing in MMA? What about fixing the Ibadan, Ondo, and other airports?
Kaide, good stuff. Thank you for your
table you are shaking.
We have work to do.
Coming up next, 7 o'clock, Frankly Speaking with Muyiwa Afolabi. Then at 7:30, we talk about the national news stories inside of Freshly Pressed. Keep listening to Smooth Breakfast.
Beyond the headlines.
We had a substantial amount of capital available to invest.
World business news.